Hybrid has always been a taboo word among Malaysian consumers, especially after the battery replacement cost of the Mercedes-Benz W212 E300 BlueTech Hybrid that amounted to 123,000 ringgit. That piece of news sent the whole of Malaysia into shock, and since then, Malaysian consumers are even more unconvinced with hybrid technology. But what happens if you put a hybrid powertrain into one of the best-selling SUVs in Malaysia, the Nissan X-Trail? Would you dare to go hybrid? Log on to WapCar.my for the latest reviews, comparisons, and car prices to help you find your next perfect car. And don't forget to click on the subscribe button. Hello everybody, it's Adrian for WapCar.my and I'm all about the details. Next to me here is the Nissan X-Trail Hybrid, the range-topping variant of the X-Trail sold in Malaysia. Now this is actually Edaran Tanjung Motors' second hybrid model among their lineup. The first one was the Nissan Serena S Hybrid. However, the Serena and this X-Trail uses two completely different powertrains, even though they are both 2-litre. The Nissan Serena is more of a series hybrid where it uses an electric motor to help with starting up and help with fuel economy slightly. The X-Trail is more of a proper hybrid system. Now let's take a look what's underneath the hood. There's a 2-litre naturally aspirated 4-cylinder petrol engine pushing out 144 horsepower and 200 Nm of torque. That is aided by an electric motor that drives the front wheels, giving an additional 41 horsepower and 160 Nm from standstill. The hybrid powertrain is paired to a CVT automatic, and on paper, Nissan claims that this is the fastest X-Trail they have. The electric motors are juiced by a 0.9 kWh lithium-ion battery pack which is located underneath the boot, which means, unfortunately, the X-Trail Hybrid is no longer a 5+2 seater because the third row seats have to be removed to accommodate this battery pack. Boot space is also slightly more compromised because Nissan had to fit this fake parcel shelf just so that you get a flat load boot floor. Now, a lot of you may think it's a bit scary having a lithium-ion battery pack. When it comes to replacement, it's going to cost astronomical prices. Well, Edaran Tanjung Motors have announced that to replace this lithium-ion battery pack would cost 25,000 ringgit. And this 25,000 ringgit is the same across the Southeast Asia region. But don't worry, because the X-Trail Hybrid comes with a 5-year unlimited mileage warranty, and which also covers the hybrid components. There is also an extended warranty program that you're able to extend the warranty period from up to 2 to 4 years for a small fee, which also covers the hybrid battery packs. Other than the removal of the third row seats, the X-Trail Hybrid gets the same kit as the 2.5 4-wheel drive variant in terms of the exterior design, interior trims, features and specification. The only way to tell that this is an electrified X-Trail is through the hybrid badge available on the rear tailgate as well as the front 2 doors. Now, this particular unit you see here is the Tuned by Impul edition, which you can tell from this rear spoiler, the aero body kit, 18-inch blacked out alloys as well as blacked out V-motion front grille. And another thing, the interior. Come on, let's check it out. Welcome to the cabin of the X-Trail Hybrid Impul Edition, and check out this gorgeous maroon interior. Now, some of you may think it's a little bit over the top, but to me, I'm a big fan. I love that the seats, the center armrest, the knee pads, dashboard trim are all finished in the maroon Napa leather. Although I do wish that this leather piece by the doors is also finished in the same material and color, just so that it ties in together the whole cabin a little bit better. Now, if you're not a fan of this maroon color, it's okay, you can just opt for the standard X-Trail that comes in plain black. But the rest of the cabin on the X-Trail Impul Edition is exactly the same as what you get in the standard variant. And I love what Nissan has done to this 7-year-old cabin in their facelift exercise. Yes, this X-Trail is now 7 years old. For starters, you get a new generation multifunctional flat bottom steering wheel seen in the Nissan Kicks as well as Almera. Very nice to see and hold. Over to the center, there's a new 7-inch Nissan Connect touchscreen infotainment system that supports Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The operations were fluid, I love the UI, but it makes me wonder why the new Almera doesn't come with Android Auto connectivity. Over to the bottom, there's an electric parking brake with auto hold function, replacing the old foot brake. The cabin of the X-Trail, however, everything is very traditionally laid out. Everything is right in your face. For example, every button in here, it's spelled out exactly what it does. For example, there's a word volume to tell you that this is the volume knob. There's the word camera to tell you it brings out the 360-degree camera. Start-stop button right on here to tell you that this is a, well, start-stop button. Push to on and off the dual zone automatic climate control. I mean, if it might sound very old-fashioned, very old school, but I personally think this is a great thing, especially for older folks. If my retiree father, he sits into this X-Trail, I can guarantee that he won't call me every 2 days and ask me, "Hey boy, what this button do? Hey boy, the knob, how to change the radio station?" None of that. In here, everything is so clearly laid out to you and it's so easy to use. Time for the big bottle test. Side door bins, you can just forcefully squeeze your big bottle in. So is the center cup holders. There's also a cooling vent to keep your drinks chilled. Center armrest is also quite a large size. Into the back seats of the X-Trail Hybrid. Because this is now a 5-seater layout, you no longer get sliding nor reclining function for the back row. But no matter, because even though when I have the front seat adjusted to my usual driving position and I'm 175 cm tall, I have 3 tennis balls worth of space. Space in the footwell is aplenty. I'm able to slide my feet underneath the front seat to get a very comfortable seating position. Headroom, about 2.5 tennis balls worth, no complaints whatsoever. And I have to say that the seat sculpture in this X-Trail is fantastic. So right now I'm in a very relaxed seating position. I have plenty of thigh support and this seat sculpture has bolsters in them. So when your driver just takes, hard corners, you're just well held into place. I mean, it's quite surprising because this is the first time I've experienced a back seat with this kind of shoulder support. Other amenities in here include rear air vents, 2 back pockets, as well as a center armrest with 2 cup holders. Before we talk about the driving experience of the X-Trail Hybrid in particular, let's talk about the facelifted X-Trail range in general. So the refinements Nissan has made to the X-Trail facelift include improved NVH levels, and that is done by adding significantly more insulation materials on the front door cuts, the front footwell, the front fenders, the firewall between the engine bay and the cabin, as well as in the engine hood. And the effect is very obvious. Driving this from 0 to 80 kilometers at highway speeds even, you barely hear anything. It's very, very well cocooned. And this kind of NVH levels is significantly better than the pre-facelift X-Trail, which is coming up right there. Not sure if you can see it. Besides the improved NVH levels, Nissan has also reworked the suspension damping settings to give it a firmer ride. So this firmer ride, don't be, taken aback by it. This is actually an improvement, because if you remember the pre-facelift X-Trail, that one felt a little bit wobbly around the bends, especially when compared to newer, more modern rivals. So it doesn't give you that kind of confidence when taking corners, especially at high speeds, highway speeds. This one, in the facelift, the ride is a lot more composed. Going over bumps and humps, the car doesn't, rebound as much. It settles very quickly, and when taking corners, the car just feels a lot more planted, a lot more pleasant. It gives you a lot more confidence while driving. Now, speaking of ride quality in particular, this Impul edition has a firmer ride compared to the standard X-Trail Hybrid, and that is because of the larger 18-inch wheels, the MC6 performance-oriented tires, as well as the Impul Sport Springs that gives the car the stiffer ride. However, I feel that the damping characteristics is not at all more uncomfortable. The car just feels a little bit more solid, a little bit firmer, and when you're changing directions especially, probably 10-20% more composed compared to the standard X-Trail Hybrid. That's the thing, the Impul edition, the sport springs and all that, doesn't compromise on ride quality, it doesn't compromise on comfort. So if you like your X-Trail to handle a little bit sharper, definitely consider these two upgrades. Now we come to the hybrid powertrain, and this is perhaps my favorite powertrain among all Nissan X-Trails offering. Right now I'm stuck in traffic and I'm crawling in full EV mode. 0 RPM, just the lithium-ion battery pack powering the electric motor to drive the car in complete silence. And this really helps with the refinement, especially when you're stuck in traffic, you know, you're just crawling around in and out of the city. This just makes the car a lot more refined. And even when the petrol engine kicks in, the transition is very smooth, very quiet. You don't feel any disruption in terms of the refinement of the car. Nothing gets disrupted. So based on our WapCar fuel consumption test, we found that the X-Trail Hybrid returns 7.1 litres per 100 km. That's pretty impressive for an SUV this size, but what's even more impressive is that the onboard trip computer showed exactly 7.1 litres per 100 km. But the biggest highlight of the X-Trail facelift is the improved safety equipment. In this X-Trail facelift, Edaran Tanjung Motor has very generously equipped with the option for Nissan Intelligent Mobility ADAS, which bundles autonomous emergency braking, forward collision warning, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, 360-degree camera with moving object detection, as well as adaptive cruise control. This is a massive step up compared to the pre-facelift, which only came with dual airbags. Yes, only 2 airbags and no electronic stability control. One thing to note is that the X-Trail does not come with steering assist. It only comes with lane departure warning, where it detects your car drifting off the lane, touching the roadside markings, and then send an audible warning. It does not correct the steering wheel, and the car does not steer itself or center itself on its lane. So every time, all the time, you will have 100% full control of the steering wheel. So remember that. For me, I feel that the exterior design of the X-Trail, especially this Impul edition, the facelift, they've just executed very nicely. Okay, probably the body kit, the aero kit that reduces the approach angle as well as the ground clearance of the X-Trail of an SUV. It's a little bit excessive, but other than that, I have no complaints about it. So I feel as a family SUV, the X-Trail is a very worthy consideration if you're someone with a more mature taste, someone who appreciates this kind of simplicity. In summary, if you're looking for a family SUV that's comfortable, quiet, spacious, and with good technologies, the X-Trail Hybrid should be on your consideration list. I personally am in love with this hybrid powertrain. I think it's just so smooth, so effortless. I love the performance and the fuel consumption. It's just great. But let me know in the comment section below, if you're choosing an X-Trail, would you pick the hybrid or the standard petrol variant? As always, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this. Log on to WapCar.my for the latest reviews, comparisons, and virtual reality showroom to help you decide on your next perfect car.